Fruits of the Holy Spirit. Karpos. And we mentioned that there are 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit, and I ask you to work with your parents and your Sunday school teachers and memorize those 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. Who can tell me fruit number 1? Iwan. Love. Very good. That's number 1. Number 2. Who's that? Dimitri.
Joy.
Joy. Excellent. Next. That's number 2. 3. Manny.
Self-control.
Self-control. Good. Who taught you that one? Your mom. I thought so. Nicolina. Peace. Okay, that's 4. Very good, children. Very good. Christos. Goodness. Very good. Number 5. Jackson. Gentleness. 6. Boy, you kids are all awesome. Christopher. Kindness. That's number 7. Got 2 more to go. Stephen. Patience. All right. Unbelievable. That's 8. 1 more. What did she say? Hamburgers. Oh, I know this is an important one. Especially we have to see it in our society. Joanna.
Faithfulness.
Faithfulness. Did we say that one? Did we say gentleness?
Yes.
Faithfulness. That's number 9. Excellent. A+. A+. Wonderful kids. Today we're going to talk about the sacraments. The word sacrament, first of all, is a Latin word. And it's a little different. The theology in the Western Church is a little different than what we believe in the Orthodox Church. The word sacrament in Latin means to make something holy, sacred. But the word in Greek for sacrament is mysterium. And it explains a little bit better what we believe as Orthodox Christians. Mysterium comes from the word mystery. What does mystery mean to you? Give me a one-word definition of the word mystery. Mystery. What is mystery? Mostadino. Something that you investigate. Something that you investigate. You're not sure of. You have to find it. Yes. Unknown. Very good. Excellent. Unknown. Mysterious is something that's unknown. It's real. A lot of real things around, but they're unknown. We have to search for them. They're kind of invisible. That's why we have to investigate. Anything else? Mysterious. Mystery.
Curiosity.
Well, we got it there. It's unknowable. We don't understand it necessarily. It's something that might be invisible. A secret. Something secret. For example, many, many centuries ago, the shape of the world was a mystery. The world, the earth, was real. But the shape of the earth was a mystery. Some people believed that the earth was flat. Others believed it was round. They didn't know. We didn't know centuries ago. Finally, we found out. It was a mystery. It was there. We just didn't understand it. Today, another example would be electricity. Now, the scientists and people who are educated understand electricity. But for most of us, like myself, I don't understand electricity. It's a mystery. I can't see it. I don't know how it works, where it comes from. But I know that if I plugged in a vacuum cleaner into an outlet, and the electricity was there, that vacuum cleaner would turn on and be very powerful and would vacuum the rug, and we do it all the time. But to me, it's a mystery, electricity. But it has great power. It has great power. And that's how it is with the sacraments. They're a mystery, mysterium. We don't understand them necessarily, but they're real. We can't really always explain them perfectly, but they're real. That the bread and wine becomes the body and blood of Christ. How is that possible? It doesn't look like bread, like blood, body and blood. It looks like bread and wine. So how do we know that it's body and blood? Because it's a mystery. We believe it. And we can feel it. Just the same way you feel the power of electricity, we can feel the power. Where does that power come from? Where does the power come from? We know that electricity comes from the wind. The wind can create electricity. Or water. The power of water can create electricity. Where does the power of the sacrament come from? Who can tell me that? The power of the sacrament. There's great power there. The sacraments can change our life. They can make us strong and spiritual. But where does that come from, that power? Where does it come from? Christopher, it comes from God. It comes from Jesus. Remember the story of the woman who was sick for many, many years? And she went to all the doctors and spent all her money and she couldn't get well. And then she heard that Jesus was in town. And what did she do? She went up to Jesus and touched his garment, part of his clothes, and she became healthy. Was it the gown that Jesus had on? The clothes that he had on that had the power? No, the power came from God. That garment that he was wearing was just a vehicle. It's like the plug. The plug doesn't have the power, or the cord, or the vacuum cleaner. The power comes from electricity. And it's the same way, when we receive the sacraments, it's not the wine and the bread. It's the power of God was changed it into the body and blood of Christ. There are 7 official sacraments. There are many sacraments. There's actually more than 7 sacraments. There are many sacraments. Death is a sacrament. Singing, chanting is a sacrament. The iconography is a sacrament of the church. Because through them, God's power comes to us. They're all vehicles. But we have 7 official sacraments, the great sacraments, the big 7 in our church. Who can tell me what those are? The 7 sacraments, the official sacraments of the church. Does anybody know any of them? Nicolina. Courtney, I'm sorry. Marriage. Boy, you're thinking about marriage already. Marriage is one of the 7 sacraments. Anybody else? Katerina. Baptism, very good. That's the first sacrament that we all receive in the church is the sacrament of holy baptism. Anyone else? That's 2. There's 5 more. Manny.
I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know.
You don't know. Anybody else? Christopher. Well, the power comes from God. We have the sacraments because God's power comes to us through these sacraments.
Communion.
One of them we just received. We just received one of the 7 sacraments. What was that?
Holy Communion.
Holy Communion. Holy Communion. Anyway, we're going to learn. I want you to go home now and go to with your Sunday school teachers. I want you to learn the 7 sacraments. And again, I want you to memorize them. And then next month when we come, we're going to talk about them. Today I just want to talk about one sacrament, and that is the sacrament of Holy Communion. It is the most powerful sacrament we have. It is the body and the blood of Christ. Now here's the last question. Last question. Is the sacrament of Holy Communion, all the sacraments, is it for the person who's worthy, or is it for the terrible sinner? Who is the sacrament for? The person who is worthy or the great sinner? Do we have to be worthy to take communion? Yes or no? How many say yes? How many say no? He's scaredy cats. Raise your hand, make a decision, take a chance. So you say, no, you don't have to be worthy, and you're exactly right. How do we say? You said no, very good. Actually, for both the worthy, nobody's worthy, that's a trick question. There is nobody who is worthy of any of the sacraments. No one is worthy. No one is worthy. The sacraments are for the sinner. Do you remember the prayer that we read just before communion? Who can remember the first words of the prayer that I believe, how's it go? I believe and confess. Go ahead. I believe and confess, Lord. How does it go? We forgot. I'm a senior. I have an excuse. That you are truly the Christ, the Son of the living God, who came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the first. We say this prayer in preparation for communion. And the person who wrote it was a saint, and he considered himself the first among sinners. And that's how we should always regard ourselves. If we're really honest, we're going to really understand and realize our sinfulness. And that's who God came for. God didn't come for the perfect, the person that has no problems. God came for the sinner. The church isn't a museum of saints. The church is a hospital for sick people. And because of sin, we're all sick. So we come here to be healed and to be strengthened, to become good. And the one thing that does that most for us are the 7 sacraments. And that's why we should always participate and receive them as often as possible. Communion, confession, Holy Unction, which is the sacrament of healing, Chrismation, which is the sacrament of the Holy Spirit we received on the day of our baptism, and baptism, number 5, marriage, and ordination. So next month, I want you to tell me, to memorize them, and again, remind us of the 7 sacraments. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.